All right, welcome back to another episode of Crash Culture, the podcast show, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the wait, sorry for the hiatus. I know it's been a little while since I've been back on the mic, blessing your ears. I had to take some time off. I do that from time to time to reconfigure. Niggas be going through shit in life, trying to figure stuff out. I got new opportunities on the horizon. And isn't that funny? Because that's what this episode is exactly going to be about, opportunities and expectations. But opportunities and expectations in the sense of how do they improve your life, or what role do they play in self-improvement? Let me say, first of all, I haven't told y'all what our motto is here at Crash Culture, and that's my fault. We 22 episodes in, and this is a damn shame. I haven't been promoting this shit nonstop. But here at Crash Culture, we believe wisdom equals freedom, or you could say wisdom is freedom. You feel me? To us, that's how we view it over here at Crash Culture. And that could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but to me, that just means only the search for knowledge and the application of that knowledge is going to essentially lead to you being free, mentally free, physically free, spiritually free, whatever freedom that you're searching for. You still have to gain that knowledge and apply it. And the wisdom is the ability to understand what to apply and when to apply it. And that's why wisdom equals freedom over here at Crash Culture. Today, like I said, we're going to get into opportunities and expectations and what role do they play in self-improvement or your self-development. All right. First of all, let's start off by breaking down what exactly is an opportunity. To me, an opportunity represents a favorable situation or just a scenario that gives you a chance at something. You know what I mean? Now, a lot of people, when they think about opportunity, they think about it in a professional sense, and as well as you should, as if a promotion for a new position came up at your job or whatever, you making more money. Or if you don't have a job, you just getting a position at a company, you taking advantage of an opportunity that an employer gave you, or if that's not your cup of tea, and if you're a self-made businessman or whatever, an opportunity could be an opportunity that you get to close on a deal, some type of business negotiation or agreement that is very lucrative or beneficial to you. You close on that opportunity, you just took an advantage of an opportunity. Now that's just professional. I mean, you got personal opportunities. Say, for instance, you stop being a side nigga or you stop being a side chick. The person that you wanted to be with finally gave you that opportunity to be with them. Now, I don't always suggest or advise going from side nigga to or a side chick to being somebody's main, but hey, whatever floats your boat. You feel me? Or maybe you got free tickets to a concert. Now you took an advantage of a personal opportunity. In my journey in life, I've learned that there are good opportunities and there are bad opportunities in life as well. It's just with everything in life. You can look at almost anything. If you're looking at it with a clear perspective, you can see the positive and negatives in anything. In any position, in any job that you get, say, for example, there might be pros and cons. There is almost guaranteed to be pros and cons. You can have your dream job and there's going to be a con to it. Maybe you don't like the schedule. Maybe you don't like your coworkers. Maybe you don't like your boss. You could be making the most money you could possibly dream that you was going to make in your life. And there's always going to be a con. Isn't that funny? Isn't that weird? That there's always a caveat to shit in life. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Back to these opportunities and how they play a role in your self-development. I feel like opportunities are crucial towards your self-development. If nobody never gave you an opportunity to get any job, then you're not going to get no money unless you hustle or unless you take advantage of some other type of opportunity, you know? And that's where bad opportunities come into play, because maybe you might see an opportunity to hit a lick, rob somebody, you know, or do a tax scam. Now, not necessarily saying that that's bad for everybody in the minds of everybody, because some people might think that that's a good opportunity. You know, they make some fast money, they capitalize on whoever they capitalize on, whether it be the banks or whether it be some unknowing elderly senior citizen that doesn't even notice the money is gone or not. Hey, they came up, they made their lick or whatever. But you gotta weigh the positives and negatives, the risk reward, and ask yourself every time before you go into any you know, situation, what is the benefit? What am I risking? And what possibly could happen if things go awry? You feel me? Like, say for instance, the IRS catch up with you. You didn't did all these scams or whatever, and they noticed that you didn't did all this tax fraud, and now they gonna take you to jail. They don't care if you got the money or not to pay it. They just want your ass locked up, you know. Or maybe the feds come after you for you doing all of those illegal credit card schemes. Not to cast a dark cloud over you, because shout out to all my scammers in the world. You know, you are appreciated out here in this world by some people, not by me, because I'm trying to get my life straight and trying to get my credit together. So, you know, you motherfuckers stay the fuck away from me. But anyways, yeah, you know, you got those type of people, and then you got the other type of people that go to work every day, work a 9 to 5, and I mean, it's a positive and a negative to that. Positive to that, you're making a steady paycheck. The negative to that is you're trading your time for money, and chances is you could be doing something else somewhere, making more money in that 1 hour that you traded for, let's say $15, $20. You know, you could have probably made 50 times that on the stock market in probably a tenth of the time. You know, it just all in the risk reward again. You know, everybody thinks things are instant in life. I think in this microwave society, we want things to happen so fast, and really anything that's great, it takes time and it takes patience and it takes hard work. You appreciate things more when you put that time and you put that hard work and you put that effort in. I think that's one of those things that need to be cool again, putting the time and the effort into things, because I feel like we haven't done that enough in society today. Or maybe, just maybe, we put too much effort and energy into the wrong things in life, in society today. I know I'm going big and more expansive with this topic, but anytime when you say opportunity and expectations, this is a very big and expansive topic. This is something that, you know, you can go on and on and on about, and you could go into so many different areas and analyze it and break it down so many different ways. I'm more so trying to talk more on a professional and personal level and just leave it at that. I don't want to really get into a think tank on all of them, about all of the different ways you can expect something and all of the different opportunities you could possibly have, because there's a fucking lot of them. Okay. I'm just going to try and do my best to give you my gems, or give you the things that I learned along my journey. Like, I can give you a perfect example of learning about, me personally learning about how to better handle an opportunity that maybe I could have handled in a different way. Like, okay, I set up a timeline. I was going to college. I was studying multimedia technology because, I'm just that person that don't like to pigeonhole myself in nothing I do for some odd reason. I don't like to be, categorized as, this is specifically this one thing that this guy can do, and that's all he can do. No, motherfucker. I'm savvy enough or quick learner enough or whatever the hell you want to call it, knowledgeable enough to learn multiple things and apply multiple things. And I had a debate with somebody about this that very thing. Is it easier to be successful if you focus on one of your talents or skills and just develop that, or should you stick multiple rods in the fire and develop them all at the same time? But anyways, that's a little bit off topic. Y'all remind me to double back to that later on. Yeah, back to this story. Like I said, I was in college studying my multimedia degree, and I was at the end, so I had to do my internship. Everybody that goes to college has to do an internship at some point in time or another. I had an internship on the table with Romeo Brito. If you Google Romeo Brito, you like, oh, I know that guy. It's not necessarily that you know him, of his work, because he's all over Wynwood. He's worked with Disney. He's worked with Absolute Vodka. As a matter of fact, those colorful Absolute Vodka bottles, he paints all over them, or they use his work. Basically, essentially, they print his work all over their bottles because he has some type of partnership with him. So does he also have a partnership with Disney, and I guess however many buildings in Wynwood and wherever all over the place. He's a Brazilian pop artist. I learned about all of this shit after this opportunity that I had. I fucked it up. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. I'm just gonna get into telling you what happened. So I didn't know shit about this dude. I never heard of this dude in my life. I don't really even go to Miami like that. I stay in Broward County, and this is this is my home. This is my domain. Like, I don't like to go to Dade. I don't like to go to Palm Beach. I don't like to go to nowhere outside of Broward County. You feel me? It's not that those other areas aren't beautiful. Of course, they have nice spots and nice places to go to. It's just, I feel like this area has less traffic. I'm one of them people that just don't like dealing with people. I don't know what it is. I just learned recently that I'm socially awkward. I don't like being around large groups of people. I just feel like fake energy. I just don't like fake energy. But anyways, so yeah, I go to this internship. You feel me? And first of all, let me explain something to you. For as much money as Romeo Brito got, why the fuck did I have to pay for parking for an internship for his studio or his company? I should have been able to park in the parking lot with all of the rest of his fucking employees. I was only going to be there for an hour. God damn. Like, I had to pay for parking for this internship. So this is already fucking me up and turning me off. And I don't think that I'm going to be getting paid for this shit. I think that I'm going to have to drive down here every day and pay for parking, right? So that already is fucking me up. So I'm like, all right, let me go in and do it. Maybe it might be cool. Maybe I might like it. You feel me? I ain't really learned the details of the shit afterward. I ain't really know if there's going to be paying or not. And chances is with these big companies or with these people that are well established, they want free work, so they're not going to pay. But yeah, anyways, so I go into this place. They had me do an Adobe Illustrator tracing of one of his artworks. It's like this heart with like his art, like pop art style within it. You feel me? And I had to do the line work on it and then color it in or whatever. And so I did it. I think that it was one of his other workers, like one of the people that actually worked for him, came and reviewed it afterward and was like she just showed me like a little trick in Adobe Illustrator to curve the line, like, because I couldn't at that point in time. I didn't know the program like I know it today. Like, I didn't know like what to press to curve that line exactly how I wanted it to be curved. Just safe to say, let me just say this: the pen tool is my best friend now. I can do almost anything, like any type of line work or create anything with that pen tool. That motherfucker is the god tier tool in Adobe Illustrator. Let me say that. But anyways, so at that moment, I was a young Padawan in my journey in Adobe Illustrator, but I still had skill. I still had talent. They couldn't deny your boy. They was like, okay, we see you not try Photoshop. You know, I had then went into Photoshop and I had then took the little statue and then flipped it into another background that they asked me to flip it into. I even added the shadow and the highlight. I even gave it, because at that moment in time, I was sharp. I was going to school every day and just fucking with Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator for my midterms, final exams, and for whatever other projects they had me working on in school at the time. Because the way I did it was I set up I set it up to where all of the English, math, and all of that was like in my earlier semesters. Like I had to do all of that in the beginning when I started college. And at the end, I had all my electives. So I had all of the stuff that I was going to be actually doing as my focus at the end. So I'm like going into getting a job, I would have all of those things fresh in my mind. This is 2015, by the way. That's the year. So 2014-15 at the time, because I graduated in the spring of 15. So yeah, 2014-15, whatever. So yeah, I did our interview. They loved my personality. It's usually like that. When I'm talking to a person one-on-one, you feel me? I feel more comfortable to talk and be, engaging with that person. Be more engaging with that person, if you will. You feel me? Because now I get to see more of them. I get to see who they are. So, yeah, the lady, she loved me in interviews. She loved my work that I put on my portfolio and I gave her, and she reviewed all of that stuff. And then, like I said, I did the test in there, and they loved it. They was like, okay, this guy is good, but she didn't give me an answer on that day or whatnot. But she said, hope to be hearing from you soon. Usually when somebody says that, that means you got the position. So I go home, and I don't think no more about it. Like I'm on to the next one. I'm trying to get the next opportunity or the next position or the next internship. But I'm trying to make some money off this shit because at this time I'm working at FedEx. Shit, anybody that worked at FedEx know they gonna work the dog shit out you for 3 to 4 hours a day. You gonna make a little $250 check every week, and that's it. You ain't gonna have no, like, once you pay car payment and pay insurance for that month, my nigga, you probably got about 200-400 for that month to eat off of, if that. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, you got full coverage. Like, you got phone bill, you got a girlfriend, whatever you got going on, nigga, you are broke. And I was as broke as a motherfucker could be. I ain't gonna say broke as a joke, because wasn't shit funny about that. I was broke. But I always hustled. So I was never really broke, super duper broke. Like, I couldn't make something happen. It's just like I always looked at it like, again, like evaluating, did I want to make it really, really happen? Did I want to ask somebody for anything? Because, I still am a very prideful person. I don't like asking nobody for help. Even if it's my own mama, I don't want to ask her for nothing, or nobody. I always want to get it on my own. But at that moment in time, I needed to ask somebody, or I needed to ask them to accommodate me in a certain way. Maybe if I had explained to them about, I can't pay for parking every day. I'm a college student. You feel me? I'm working a part-time job and going to school full-time. Like, y'all gonna help me out. Y'all gonna have to let me park in this parking lot where y'all park. All right? And then I could come down here every day to do the intern. Maybe they might have. But my goofy ass, tell me why when the lady called me, I sent it to voicemail. And that wasn't enough. Like, she told me that I got the internship. I just never called her back. I never got back to her about the internship, never spoke another word to her. And tell me why. Later on, this lady come to the school to have some type of job event, and she was giving me the craziest stink eye, like, yo, like, you really did not take advantage of this opportunity, dude? Like, you fucked up. Do you know who we are? Do you know what company this is? Do you know who this artist is? Oh my goodness, I can't believe. And like, she was in there giving the presentation and explaining who Romeo Brito is and what she do and all of that shit. And I was just sitting over there like, fuck. It could have probably led to a very good paying job, or a decent paying job with upward movement, doing the thing that I love to do the most. But just because I'm a person who didn't feel like I needed that opportunity, or I felt like, not necessarily I didn't need that opportunity, but like something made me not want to explain to her. Like maybe my pride didn't want me to explain to her the situation with me not being able to go down there and pay for parking every day. You feel me? And then on top of that, put the gas money in my car to drive to Wynwood from Hollywood every day was gonna be like killer. You feel me? After I came from work, on top of that, like I would have been able to do nothing else. It would have literally been work, school, internship, home. Literally, that would have been my whole week would have consisted of that. And maybe I didn't want to commit to that. I never know what the fuck was going through my head at like 24, 25 years old. I don't know what the fuck was going through my mind. I know I was just on some bullshit sometime. I think that sometimes when opportunities came to me, I wasn't recognizing them. I think that was the main part about it is, like in my situation, in my case, is recognizing when an opportunity is in front of you. I'll even give you another situation. I had a $60,000 a year position with the city of Sunny Isles. Oh, no, the city of North Miami. I'm tripping. Same thing, but the city of North Miami, right? To be a graphic designer. It was like right after I graduated too, like probably not even a year after I graduated, I got that interview for that position. At that time I was growing my dreads, my locks. And I was in this whole creative phase right after I graduated of trying to, do my freelance graphic design and all of that stuff. And I felt like that if I'm doing a creative position, that my appearance should reflect my creativity. So instead of me cutting off my fro and getting a clean brush cut or whatever, that corporate America wants, I don't think that the haircut played much of a role because I had a tape. But I didn't come in with a business casual outfit. I came in with a Japanese silk shirt and some jeans and some Jordans, which I know. But you couldn't tell me shit at that moment in time. All of that whole outfit looked fresh. But it wasn't enough, it wasn't that wasn't enough. It wasn't enough that the hair to most, state jobs or county jobs is like, they look at you like crazy. It was not enough for the outfit not to be a business type outfit. I also showed up a minute late. On top of that, the minute late shit was like, oh, all right. Like when I showed up a minute late, I knew I was fucking up. I knew I was fucking up at that moment in time. I was like, damn, boy, I'm gonna have to knock them dead in this interview. So I had brought my laptop. I think that's a part of the reason why I showed up a minute late, because I wanted to make sure that I had all of the stuff, all of the files on my portfolio that I needed to show them. Come to find out that that's not what they wanted in the interview. They wanted to interview me personally to see how I was as a person. They was asking me other questions to see how I did. Like all of these personality tests with these damn jobs, I feel like is a little bit racist. That's neat. I don't know. I feel like it is at the end of the day, because it's like, can I do the job or not? I think that should be the bottom line in any position. Can I do the job or not? But these people say, oh, I got to work with this motherfucker every day, so they have to have a personality that fits in with my personality. And what if your personality is a bitch or an asshole? What if it's like that, motherfucker? What if I don't want to fit in with your personality? Anyways, that's a little bit of my let me say this. On my journey in life, my road has been paved with a lot of kiss my ass and fuck that shit. And I can tell you that in some ways that has paid off for me big time. When it comes to people talking shit, when it comes to people giving me their opinion that I ain't never asked for, when it comes to people telling me how to live my life in a certain way, I tell them kiss my ass and fuck that shit. But when it comes to professional opportunities that could give me a leg up in the game, or somebody giving me some knowledge that maybe could put me ahead or whatever, not so much. It didn't help that much having that type of mindset. So, like I said, again, it just comes with, wisdom. It comes with time. It comes with being put in situations where you're going to learn that not everything is a fuck that shit, I'll figure it out on my own. I know we like to think that everything happens for a reason, but I think that we will these things to happen. I think that that's more so of why things happen. The universe is creating our reality based on what we're willing to come into play. You feel me? And it's the same thing with any type of professional, personal opportunity. If we're willing, and if we of our singular focus on making this happen, it's gonna happen. That go back to that whole billionaire thing. That go back to any gainful employment or anything that you're trying to achieve in life. If you will these things to happen, your opportunity will come. You just have to recognize this opportunity and take advantage of it, essentially, is what I'm saying here with this whole opportunity part of this podcast. You get what I mean? You dig what I'm saying? I'm going to be right back in a minute with the expectations part about this, and it's going to be fun. All right. I want to get a little bit into expectations. What should you expect out of yourself, and what should you expect out of other people? Well, the answer is absolutely nothing and absolutely everything. You should expect absolutely everything out of yourself and absolutely nothing out of anybody else, because people oftentimes have a bad habit of disappointing you when you have any type of level of expectations out of them. But, as somebody proves to you that they can be trusted with a certain level of expectation, I'm not saying come to always expect that out of them, but that's somebody that you want to keep around you, because they show themselves to be more reliable. You feel me? So consistency is key. With that and them and you, even yourself, consistency is key. When you expect something out of yourself, it's like when you want to achieve anything in life, nothing comes without hard work and practice. So, yeah, you having a high expectations out of yourself, but you without applying or without putting in the time or the work or the energy to get to that expectation that you have out of yourself. Those are just words or thoughts that you might rattle around in your brain, but no amount of it is going to come to fruition until you put in that time and that effort and that energy to make it happen. So, yeah, that's a little bit about expectation and like having it out of somebody else and having it out of yourself. Now, how this plays a role into your self-development. I mean, if you're never let down by somebody in your life, then you've never trusted anybody in your life. And I think that everybody has to trust somebody every now and again. Even if you know that they might let you down, you still have to trust that they might not. Give them the benefit of the doubt. If anything, that makes you a better person for having given this person the benefit of the doubt. It might waste your time some of the time, but at the end of the day, give them the benefit of the doubt. You never know. You never know what people are capable of. They might multiply what you brought to the table. Now, the expectations that you have out of yourself, that is more integral than having any expectation out of anybody else towards your self-improvement, because of course it's yourself. It can only add to your self-improvement. any expectation that you have out of yourself. If it's a positive expectation, if you have an expectation that you're going to be financially stable and have a house in the next 3 to 5 years, then you need to put in the time, hard work, effort, and energy to get to that point. And if you recognize that, just like if you recognize an opportunity in front of you, just like you should recognize that expectation is going to take a certain level of hard work and time and effort and energy, then you're going to put it in. If you have an expectation out of a certain part of your interaction with a person, say for instance, you got a friendship and you expect this friendship to, or this partnership. Let's not go friendship. Let's not go so much. Let's go business wise. If you have this partnership and you expect this partnership to be mutually beneficial to you and all parties involved, right? Then you're going to make sure things go according to plan, right? Because you want to get paid at the end of the day. And you want your client or the person that's partnered with you to be happy. So they keep coming back to you for more. You feel me? They know that you're the it guy or it girl to get it done. So there you go. A little bit about expectations. Again, with expectations, there come letdowns. But once you're let down, don't let that make you feel depressed or down too long. I know letdowns are disappointing. And anytime you're disappointed by somebody or you're disappointed by yourself that you weren't able to achieve a certain goal, I know for some people it hit harder than for others. Like I say, this is where that fuck that shit and kiss my ass comes in with me. If I don't hit a certain expectation, or if I don't get what I expected out of a certain person, you know, I'd be like, fuck that shit. Whatever. On to the next person. You know, if I don't, I'm more harder on myself. So if I don't get this expectation out of myself, I can't say fuck that shit. I got to say, damn, maybe I need to try a little harder. You know, and that's where that effort come in. That's where that you holding yourself accountable comes in. I think that's another part of expectations. Accountability. You feel me? You have to be accountable for what you're doing to make something happen. You feel me? That's the only person that you can hold accountable at the end of the day is yourself for anything that you're trying to achieve in life. And you will get it at the end of the day if you take on those mindsets, if you take on those fundamentals for how to improve yourself, if you're disciplined and committed to whatever it is that you want to get or whatever it is that you expect to get out of life, then you will get it. If you see opportunities and recognize an opportunity that can benefit or change your life for the better, and you take advantage of it, then you will improve. You will be better. I think that's what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's what goes without saying. I think anytime when you're speaking about these two subjects, anytime you're talking about these two words, they usually have, at least opportunity has a positive connotation to it. You know, it's just refreshing, the word, the idea, you know, because opportunities come few and far in between. I think expectation, there's a little bit of pensiveness, there's a little bit of fear anytime expectation is brought up or the word is brought up. It like makes people kind of tense up a little bit because I think a part of us don't know if we can live up to certain expectations that we might have of ourselves, or, you know, we don't know of other people that might live up to the ones that we might have of them. I say, do it anyways. You never know. at the end of the day. You never know. This has been another episode of Crash Coach of the Podcast Show from the Wisdom Equals Freedom series. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Give me your thoughts and feedback. Hit me up on Instagram at BamSmith22, Facebook at BamSmith, or Twitter at I am Bam Smith, your local big homie. We out.